Hello. Uh, one more cheeky session today. It's the evening. I can finally wind down after a long day. During the previous session, which happened just a number of hours ago, I managed to finish applying my latest layout algorithm recursively. Pretty happy with that. Now, the only thing that's left after that is to clean up and get ready for upcoming challenges. And I can already name a few. So this one is going to be very relaxed. I've spent a lot of energy thinking about the new algorithm and then applying it. It went pretty smoothly. Very happy with that. Now time to clean up. Let's see the code. So this is the latest version of the shape of the main file with the algorithm being applied just here somewhere. Here, XYZ. Yeah, this is what I mean by cleanup. So first of all, let's see the terminal. Mostly everything changed. This is a new repo, so I need to config this. Okay. I wasn't aware. All right, I think I know what's happening. Yep. So you know what I'll do? I'll just go back to my old drakon. And we'll just git clone drakon again. And I'll just have to remember not to pull code from the repository, because that messes up the permissions. But it's fine. But before I start building a development environment in this other terminal, I need to make sure that all conflicts are resolved and that I can push, and I have pushed. This is just an SVG. We don't have to worry at all. It can even be broken. And finally, run. That's just spaces. 3 spaces versus 4 spaces. All right. Now in this fresh console, I can configure my account. But before we do that, let's make sure that that post merge still works as desired. Perfect. Perfect. All right. So my development environment has its own downsides. Let me start thinking about how we can resolve that. So this is getting ready. And now I can start addressing all these comments. Let's come up with a new function here that will combine first path and first path prime. It's called first paths. So if we were to make that function perfect, it would have to accept not a positioned icon, but just an icon. We would have to call it title icon. Then a collection of icons, which we already have. Is it really that simple? Now we export it. Okay. Developing code in containers definitely has its own disadvantages, like the ones I'm dealing with right now. But what I really love about it is that you can have as many non-conflicting development environments as you want for a pretty cheap price. So while this one is getting ready, I can work in another one, and they're completely isolated. They don't even share the same code because physically this is in a different this code is in a different directory. Oh, that's records. Okay. Icons. That's renamed now to all icons. So my first goal is to provide a unified interface to the new layouting algorithm in the layout engine file, and also to remove all redundant now functions. Later, I'll be applying the suggestions given by HLint. I believe this is all HLint. Oh no, there is something from GHC. Okay, we'll get to all that. Can you do it something like this? I probably can. that looking bad? I hope it's not. Oh, I might want to make it even smaller. Font. Let's make it 10 in both cases. This could be a little bit tricky to read on mobile devices, but I'm sorry. It's important that I can read it. This should be good. Okay, let's see how this is working. Diagrams are being built. And this has just built. Let's run it. Works. It works beautifully. Okay. So now we can go to the favorite part of mine and start carving out code. So the main function is 134 plus 1 lines of code. Not too bad. Yeah, pretty happy with this. Now, we're this deep cleanup should only leave first paths exposed. So positioned icons prime, position dependency plane, this all goes away. Quite literally, everything goes away. We have some functions to rename. Let's rename those first. So here we iterate through all positioned icons, and for all of them, we don't want the icon name to match the name of a positioned icon. So renaming do not contain name, does not contain name. The list of positioned icons does not contain name. Does not contain name, single name, all positioned icons. Do we have any other references to ABC? Nope. New environment is still building. Now we need to rename DEF and XYZ. Now, Pandoc, this will take a while. So what does it do, this DEF? We get a list of icons, a list of positioned icons, and we return a maybe icon. See the context in which it's used. So this is the first dependent that is not yet positioned. Is that right? The dependents all positioned icons. First. So first and position dependent, we have all dependents and all positioned icons. If we find nothing, the rendering is finished. Otherwise, we get that dependent. What does it do? Position dependent icon. Oh, it's here. Okay, so the last one that we have outstanding is XYZ. At XYZ, we get a list of positioned icons, list of icons, a double, and a list of positioned icons. So if we can find the first position icons that has unpositioned dependents, we have a parent, then we get all dependents of that. Oh, so this is the main function that repeats, I think. the retrieval of retrieval of what? XYZ, if I remember correctly, produced new dependence. I'm just tempted. I'm tempted to call it simply next column. Let's try to build it. In the meantime, I'll delete the rendered diagrams. This anymore. This works beautifully. Same as this. Okay, so far so good. So now we have first paths, which is public, first path prime, first in position dependent, which is used, next column, which is used, first to contain unposition dependence is used, contains unposition dependence is used, does not contain, yep. First icon positioned. To the bin. Dependency planes definitely can go out. Position to icon, position icons and position icons prime can go. See, this is what I mean. It did work, the previous algorithm, but going blind into it or revisiting this code after a while, I would probably not remember what's going on. Not saying that the new code is perfect, but it's much closer to being easily maintainable, I would believe. First line dependence, not used. I don't believe these are used. Definitely not used. So, look, not too bad. For a complete new algorithm, we only use 75 lines plus one extra. Let's just prove that it's actually still working. If it is, we'll call it a success. Still works. Still works. Okay, beautiful. Oh, lovely. So this is now ready. It took a little while, but the new environment is ready. Clean drakon. So let's do this. And I need to be very focused not to mess this up again. We go to new drakon. Go to drakon renderer. I should have some changes. Yep. And I'm me. I'm not root. Mm-hmm. It's now important that I push from here. If I can, but I couldn't. No. Um, let's make one small change. Looks correct. Now, let's close this. Let's close this. This is the clean drakon. Drakon. Let's exit sudo drakon. I don't need this anymore. Now all Git operations will be doing outside the container. Okay, looking good so far. Now I need Sublime. Let's change. Let's not forget. Close with that saving. I'm still using the unclean version of Drakon, if you will. Close all files. I wonder what it's doing. Now, this is the new clean Drakon. I don't need this. Yes, it worked. I just need to remember not to do any Git operations from the container. If time allows, I'll investigate it, but I'll just have to remember it. Now, to the more pleasant part, let's address the suggestions that the HLint is giving us. Infix. Oh, clever. Yes, it needs to be in a bracket. Does not use lambda, just use the partially applied function, which also is in brackets. Slightly confusing to me, but hey. 7 hints. Warning, used otherwise as a pattern. Ah, that is right. Next, line 62. Suggestion, use if. 5 hints, not too bad. 56. Can we shave off one more line? That should work, shouldn't it? It does. And we're back to 75 lines. 56. Redundant bracket. Okay, fair enough. Redundant bracket 55. Okay. I can't remember why I used it in the first place. Looks pretty obvious. Three hints. Safe. So in that case, I think this can even be a one-liner. Same here, really. Let's go with an X. Classic X. "71 lines, that's not too bad." Redundant bracket 38. Redundant bracket in 26. No hints, now just GHC warnings. TS not used. All right, it's not too bad. Let's commit this. All right. Again. It's me. Can't you recognize me? All right. So now this is all nice and cleaned up. Let's do the dreaded admin. This is looking very nice. All right, let's go through the issues. Why drakon? I'm getting ready for maybe a dedicated video about why I chose to spend so much time and energy into drakon. This is a sample diagram that I produce for work. And look, even though it only has like 1,300 lines, I'm just charting the dependency diagram of different network components in our AWS stack. Mermaid already complains that that's just too much to process. I'm hoping to address issues like that with my implementation of drakon renderer. Let's leave it open. This should be documentation. So remove alternative and embalm should be moved to the right. I think they are. The layout engine is still work in progress because I don't know all the variables yet, but for what we have, the layout engine works well. Now, before I forget, backup and new drakon need to go to the bin. This is a very valid issue. And we still have this. But believe it or not, but I started this on the 20th of August and I read maybe half of it. So this is still in progress. I decided not to rely too heavily on the drakon renderer project. Like, I don't really need this. It's just another page out of GitHub. See, it's just it's maybe not out of GitHub, but out of the GitHub repository. Yeah, I just don't need it. Validation ideas. So I started reading this one and it's slightly beyond my pay grade, especially that, okay, synchronous exceptions are reasonably easy to grasp, but what they mention here is also asynchronous, asynchronous exceptions. And asynchronous code, if you've noticed, we do not have at all in drakon renderer. It's just purely synchronous CPU-bound code. And for now, I would like it to stay that way. However, it's still a good material to read one day. So the admin is done. Now I want to write a word or two here in the devlog. So I haven't in a while. And I believe I will probably have to start using branches and start PRing my changes. It's just easier to track all the modifications like that. I should probably avoid pushing directly to main. I mean, yeah, I should avoid pushing directly to main, but I should still PR to main. To you know what? Before we commit, I feel we deserve a bump up in the version. It's not a full sentence. Isn't there like an image here somewhere? There it is. Oh. Oh well, I guess we won't see it. Right. So I'm kind of on the fence whether we should continue working on this or should we fix these connections. Let's maybe not worry too much about these connections yet. Let's keep adding to this list of icons. But I'll have to take a little bit of a break. See you in a minute. All right, I'm back after a break. So I think I'll just continue working on adding items to my real life diagram 1 just to look slightly more like this one. Let's see what happens. So if we were to compare the two, what do we have? Can remove, another way to remove. Can remove, another way to remove. Yeah, let's not worry about those connections just yet. So we need an action called remove brain. It feels weird to be back to this mode of adding new icons. I have to admit, it gives me new energy to create with drakon, not to create the drakon rendering engine. Let's create a branch. This is issue number 68. Let's call it 68A, because I'm pretty sure we'll encounter a number of problems along the way. Okay, now action called remove brain. Can we get it like... Let's split it half and half. Remove alternative. If there is an alternative, go to remove brain. Let's change this embalm to 101, because I want the numbers to continue along the left-hand side paths, just as we follow in the new layout algorithm. So now, so can remove brain and remove alternative will both go not to 100, but to a new action. called remove the brain. And that will be identified by name 8. And that will go directly to the end. Let's see how it looks now. Oh, sorry, I forgot to switch to my development mode. Sorry about that. Did it just run? Why am I getting a warning now? It's okay. Uh-oh. I've been looking at the wrong diagram all the time. That's not good. If we broke something, we will only know now. Oh, that is stressful. Okay. But it's not looking too bad. Remove the brain. Sorry, remove brain. Number 6 depends on, sorry, it has 2 dependents. Number 8, which is the remove the brain. This is correct. Remove alternative also has 2 dependents. One of them is 8. So technically, they are connected, not according to drakon standards, but they are connected. Okay. Next icon. Place brain into transport container. Happy Halloween, everybody. Place brain will get number 9. At some later stage, we'll have to figure out how to position text and how to break text in order for it to fit in those icons. But that's a luxury problem to have. We'll get there, I'm sure. Place brain, number 9. Freeze brain. This will be 10. Oh, look at this. We have 2 embalm body icons. So most likely, well, they're the same action, just different paths to get to them. Interesting. Let's distinguish between them somehow. So this embalm that we had before is going to be embalm 2. And the left-hand side one is going to be called 1. Embalm 1. Identifier 11. And for now, let's assume that this is the, oh no, we can still add an address. Let's call it transport Finland. Address. I should have placed it here. Yeah, this JSON syntax definitely does the job of defining the structure of the diagram as text, but we definitely need something easier to work with, like for example, Mermaid JS state diagram syntax, which I use pretty much every day at work. No, I'm curious if this is going to work. Okay, remove the brain, place brain, freeze brain, embalm. Remove the brain, place brain, freeze brain, embalm. Transport at the end. For now, at the end. Okay, it's not looking too bad. Now let's deal with this part of the diagram. Is check transit option much cheaper? So let's go to embalm 2. We know that we've just run out of available numbers on the left-hand side, so we can finally give embalm 2 a different identifier, namely 13. And whatever led to it can also change to 13. Check transit, this is a question. Identifier 14. This will have two dependents. 15 and 16. This, oh. So we need two address icons. And these will be leading to the end. So this is transport Moscow. And this, oh, this is not correct drakon. The further to the right, the worse. So this should be a no. Ooh, maybe we can correct it. I like that. So transport to Moscow is no. So that will be 16 and 15. is transport check. Lovely. Okay, it's not looking bad at all. We'll need to figure out this connection at some stage. We'll have to figure out these connections at some stage. It's already looking pretty nice. Okay, and now we approach a situation where the title icon can have more than one dependent. We've never had it before, and I'll have to think how to implement that. But essentially, this section of the tree looks pretty much finished, minus one thing. All these address icons do not go to the end. They go back all the way to the top to this intersection. Also have to think about how to implement that. But for now, maybe we can spend a little minute looking into one of these two issues, either this one, but probably not, this looks complex, and this one. These connections should not go here. They should go down, true, but they should turn before the depth of the icon they are connecting to, connect to this point and then go down. I believe this is pretty easy to implement. Let's do it now, and maybe we'll wrap it for today. So now that code is in the render, I believe. Let's see. Oh, we still have to clean this up. But before we do, the meantime, let's create a new issue. Can I edit this? We'll also quickly modify the README to show the more complex diagram. Because it's just better to show off what the renderer can do, I believe. Now we can close this and this. Renderer. Now. So we have alternative single connection, but we don't have single connection. How does that work? That is not an alternative anymore. What was the warning about? I remember we used to have a warning in the records 246. Two positioned icon. This is just temporary. Come on, we need a better name. Maybe not today. Let's stay focused. I'm starting to feel tired. Now, I remember we had a bunch of if statements that determined the relative position of icons being connected. Is it here? Render a single connection. Positioned icons. Start to finish waypoints. This could be it. All right. So in our case, x1 is greater than y2. So technically here we should have two conditions, or three conditions even, about y coordinates. If x1 is greater than x2 and y1 is lower than y1, equal to y1 is lower than y2, y1 is equal to y2, and y1 is greater than y2. But for now, let's assume that we don't care about y coordinates. We'll just do some magic tricks with this. Having said that, please excuse me for a minute. I need to go and check something. All right, I'm back just a couple of minutes later. This time I'll try not to forget to switch to the code view. All right, and let's fix this now. Here. And, let's just remind ourselves how the connection would look like. So the first, this is the origin here somewhere. It needs to go as low as y2 plus icon height, I believe. Then to the left, next to this, let's try to build it. Oh, this started doing something. So it's okay. It's just incorrect in a different way. I think we can accept it. But this one is fixed. screenshot of this, proving that we did fix it. It's pretty trivial, luckily for me. Oh no. All right, now we just need to PR that change. This diagram is looking pretty substantial. I like that. Oh, look at this. These are also fixed. Beautiful. That's really nice. Okay, so next time there's also one thing that I didn't think about. These, well, maybe. So all the drakon diagrams that I've seen so far have these address icons on one level. Here, naturally, we position all icons in the first available slot, looking from the top to the bottom of the graph. For now, I'm not sure if this is correct in terms of drakon, but logically, it's not incorrect, I would think. So I'm going to leave it for now. Maybe we can look into this later. For now, I'm pretty happy with this. All right, so I'm just going to check out main, pull the latest, and we're going to wrap it up for the evening. It was a very nice session. I really enjoyed myself writing all this code and cleaning up. I thank you very much for your patience and for sticking with me. I feel this week we've made so much progress with the renderer. Plan for next week. Let me think. Yeah, we'll probably, well, when I say we, I'm going to continue working on real life diagram 1. We'll have to tackle the problems of the title icon having multiple dependents, the problem of multiple final address icons leading up and back to the intersection that happens just after the title icon. We'll definitely be busy, but it looks like the layout or the icon positioning algorithm is under control. That's great. And the algorithm that connects positioned icons is also relatively under control. There will be a bit of work when it comes to comparing y coordinates, but most of it is working fine. Yeah, I think we're on the right track. I wish you all a fantastic weekend and good night.